Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Trek Cannon. It's going to be a really quick review because this episode was interesting. Well, it wasn't interesting. I didn't really like this episode, but there was a lot of hidden gems in this episode that I think you guys probably noticed because they put a lot of it right there front and center. So let's jump into it. This particular one, I'm gonna try to keep it away from a rant. Um, and try to keep it coherent. Well, it's always going to be coherent, but let's try to stay away from. It's going to be spoilers, so y'all know how I roll. So if you guys haven't watched the episode, season 2, episode 5, 2 of 2, go ahead and watch it. Come back, play video, and see if we can agree or disagree on some things, man, and talk about it in the comments. So let's jump on into it now. Like I said, the episode is season 2, episode 5, 2 of 2. What's going on in this episode is we're starting to see the effects that the Board Queen is having, and on always forget what her name is. But I'm put it right here. The Board Queen is having on her and everything. We go into it's the way that they do it is kind of like, okay, well, this is the end result of the episode, and so now the episode is going to show you what led up to it. All right, so Captain Picard is all jacked up. I'm sorry, Admiral Picard is all jacked up. We don't know why he's laying on the ground, blood coming out of him, and we go, I think, 40 something minutes prior to the episode. Now, this episode focuses on the dinner. All right, trying to get Renee Picard to understand her confidence to try to go back into this Europa mission because of its importance. Data, Dr. Soong finally meets up with Picard and everything, and he's 100% on board with messing up this Europa mission for her. Now, let's talk about what we didn't like. What I didn't like is the episode. I didn't like the episode. Um, There was some very nice gems in the episode, which I'm gonna get to. I didn't really like the episode overall, and this is why. Um, the Board Queen, she seems a lot more manipulative than she normally would be. A lot of the things that the Board Queen is concerned about aren't things that the Board Queen normally would be concerned about. What do I mean by that? The Board Queen doesn't seem to be too concerned with assimilation. And some people may say, well, it's because she's in the past. Well, you remember First Contact, the board don't care what time period they're trying to assimilate people. That's what they do. All right. They didn't deactivate her assimilation tubules, which I am very surprised they didn't. They should know how because of the efforts of the doctor in Voyager and the experiments, well, and the care that he took of 7, experiment no 7. But anyway, um, the okay. So check this out, right? All right. So you mean to tell me y'all catch this lady in the party where she's not supposed to be? Security sees that they take this woman to the control room or whatever so that she can be interrogated. That's fine. Figure out, wait for the cops to come so she could get out. We all know how that goes for anybody who's ever shoplifted before. But anyway, um, so she proceeds to pulls out this little thing, shoots this gas into the air that knocks everybody out. They didn't really say if she took anything that was an antidote or anything like this that would stop her from reacting to this as well. But let's assume that that was the case. Let's assume that the writers were smart enough to know that that was the case, and they just forgot to put it in there. Or they put it in, I didn't hear it. But that's what happened. Now, she proceeds to have a USB drive to slide up in here and everything like that. Look, let me tell you something. I remember the time I told you guys that I had gave my son a VCR. We were looking for a videotape. All right. A videotape isn't that old. Well, it's old to most young people, but to me, a videotape isn't that old. I could not find a videotape almost like it was some effort just to find a videotape, and that's what 35 years old, and a zip drive and a USB drive. How it, I can understand replication, but come on, they didn't really get into that either. But she goes back out into the party in the same red dress, and nobody, Girardi, that's her name, and nobody, right, was like, hey, how did she get back in the party? This chicken is obvious, this obvious person right here. You know what I'm saying? Because the dress was obvious. Hey, I'm gonna have to say Girardi. Girardi was rocking the. Girardi was Girardi was Girardi, and you know what I mean. So, Girardi proceeds to sing, um, and she has a very beautiful voice. But come on, man, come on. It wasn't even a caper. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like a Dixon Hill mystery thing. It wasn't. There was no. Don't you know how like when they be playing those characters on the holodeck and everything? Like, do you remember the episode with Data and them when they was in a casino stuck on that one planet, and uh, they were basically trying to figure out how to uh, end this book. All right, they had a caper vibe to it. It was a certain vibe to it. This one, it was just like, okay, well, we're in a party, man. We're gonna do this, man. Yeah, we finna talk to this lady and everything, and la la la. Now, the Watcher, they finally let the Watcher, the Watcher finally eases up on her death grip of Renee, which is not really serving a purpose. And I'm finding it odd that a supervisor became took on that particular thought process, about being that type of protector when Gary was very distant from such feelings like that. Not that he didn't have feelings, but it was the mission. You know what I'm saying? So here she is. She's faced with the possibility that this godlike being is messing with her mission, and she's still reluctant to engage Rene Picard. You know what I mean? I understand they have their rules and everything, but the rules are being broken by Q right now. So it's a unique situation. So I'm surprised why she doesn't understand that. Now, Picard gives one of his, man, I miss Picard's speeches, man. I do. Just like you said, I miss his speeches. When Picard is on point, when they write Picard the way they're supposed to write Picard, he he he's he's he basically took the costume of a security guard, which was just a little name tag, and he meets up with Renee, who's sitting by herself, and they begin their exchange. And the words that Picard used were words that I was like, that's what Picard would say. That's my man Picard. You know what I mean? That's that's how you motivate. That's how you motivate somebody. That's how you get them back in the game, man. That right there was real smooth. You know what I mean? So let's talk about. Oh my goodness, man. Let's talk about this whole thing with the Zoom. Now, basically, that was all the stuff that I really like about the episode. Yeah, the tempo, everything about the episode. But let's talk about the things that I thought were gems in the episode. If you guys remember about 1 or 2 videos back, I talked about how Dr. Soong, being a geneticist, was very important in this particular time period, and how in uh, this particular time period, it's kind of around the time where they had the eugenics wars, all right, with the Superman, Khan and his team. Now, I also talked about how the eugenics wars is one of the most pivotal moments in Star Trek canon that's talked about a lot, but nobody knows the origins of it, when exactly the years was. They have a range, all right, how it got started, who made the Superman, how did that come about, So I'm happy that we're finding out that this could be the origins of the eugenics. They even use that word, of the eugenics wars. All right, and I wonder if this Rene Picard thing is just a facade to go into what they really wanted to go into, which is the eugenics wars, and how Dr. Soong has already begun his experiments uh, towards that. especially with the amount of embryos that he has went through to try to perfect the eugenics. Now, and that's another thing too. Even in the future, going into genetics, if you think about in Deep Space Nine, those people that hung out with the doctor, the ones that the doctor was helping, it's not even perfected then. So it's not an easy process. There are so many variables and everything, so many things that could go wrong. And even as far as Dr. Sohn had got in his experiments, she's still having deficiencies, basically having UV, vampirism, burn up from the sun thing. Now, that is awesome, because again, that's one of the most pivotal moments in Star Trek canon was the eugenics wars. So I'm happy that they're touching on this. We didn't get to see Q in this episode, and that's fine because Q is a guy, he could pretty much basically be anywhere he wants to. But I am curious. They have struck my interest as to how this Europa mission and the eugenics wars play into each other, and how the presence of the Watchers uh, trying to influence any of this uh, plays the part in how it's going to change the outcomes and everything like that. Was the Watchers was the Watchers responsible for the development of the eugenics wars and everything like that? Like, that these two situations only meet or come to a head because of the intervention of Q? Like, there's several questions that I would love to, that I would love to see answered in going forward in the episode. So, I guess I'll go ahead and end the video here. Um, Again, episode, but some of the gems that they talked about in the episode, priceless. All right, so if not, just watch the episode just for those pieces of information. All right, because it's very important. So, if they're writing it that way. So, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It's my rating hat. And as always, peace, recycle, and say the wells. You guys be cool.